All right, so again, Connor Shaw is the managing director. He unfortunately had to leave last minute, but I run channels and alliances. That's all marketing with partners, through partners. That's all sales with partners, through partners. So a little bit on myself. So quick show of hands. Who's in marketing in the audience? Who's in sales? All right, more marketeers. Who's in customer service? Finance? Anything else I'm missing? All right, we can insult sales because there's less salespeople here, but yeah, I'll keep on sides of marketing. So I was very fortunate. I worked for, in my mind, two incredible companies. One of them, does everyone know Salesforce.com? Most people know Salesforce.com. Great selling CRM company. I worked for them for a long time, 6-7 years, and now I work for another great company, Marketo. Does anyone know Marketo? Anyone know marketing automation? Some competitors out there? Okay, very good. Some of you don't, so I'll give you a quick thing. Marketo is a Silicon Valley-based company. We're 10 years old now. Went public a couple years ago. Great cutting-edge technology from marketing automation. What's marketing automation? Lead scoring, lead nurturing. I'll get into a little bit of that as we go through. I'm not here representing Marketo. I'm here just to talk about sales and marketing alignment. I have a good amount of experience there, so you'll hear from my accent. Actually, I'm American. I've lived over here for 15 years, 9 months, 4 days, and 3 hours. So, but who's counting? Yeah, 17 minutes. But anyway, so yeah, I'm happily married. You know, 1 wife, 2 dogs, 3 chickens, 4 kids, 5 horses. I'm here for a little while, so I like it. Like I said, I've worked for some incredible companies. I've learned a lot. I cover Europe. I have a number of people who do channel sales for me. It's a good business to be in. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to spend a little bit of time just talking about sales and marketing alignment. Okay. I didn't know who was going to be in the audience. I didn't know the majority of you guys are marketeers, so hopefully I'll delve into some marketing data. And again, feel free to ask me or stop me and question me, because I'm going to talk a little bit high level, then I'll dive into some of the things that we do. I won't give you my numbers specifically, and then we'll talk a little bit about sales alignment, okay? But I am going to talk high level on where we see the market going, as well as how we're marketing today. Ourselves, Marketo, again being a Silicon Valley-based company, we focus on just marketing automation. So again, we work with marketeers. We have a marketing nation, we call nations, our customers, and people who use our product, about 50,000 people. So we get a lot of feedback from them. And again, we're focused on just that market. So anyway, enough about me and my accent. We see the quest for every company, you know, large or small, product to service, B2B, B2C. What are you trying to do? You're trying to fill the top of your funnel. You're trying to find new customers, get those customers through your marketing funnel, cross-sell and upsell to them, get some lifetime value out of the customer, turn them into brand advocates, and then start the whole cycle again, okay? So what we're trying to figure out, though, is because you have so many systems underneath it. You have people from customer support, you have people from sales on a lot of that. You have people from marketing. Marketing's traditional job is to fill the top of the funnel, okay? So who's coordinating all this? Where is it all going, all right? Who actually owns the customer? And what we're seeing, you know, what we're getting feedback, we did a report with The Economist recently. 86% of CMOs see them owning the entire life cycle of the customer. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean they own the sales cycle? No. But they have to be the steward of the customer journey, because the customer journey is that life cycle that we just talked about. All right? The customer journey, it's not only demand generation at the top of the funnel, finding them, but actually how do you get them the right information at the right time to pull them through that funnel, to turn them into a customer so you can upsell and cross-sell, and to turn them into an advocate so you can drive actually more attention and more upsell, cross-sell, more customers back to your solution. But the problem is today, as we all know, and everyone in this audience knows, you know, it's not about finding the customers. It's not about, you know, the campaigns that we actually give to the customers. Customers are on their own self-directed journey. Whether you're selling a solution or a product, they are going to find you the way they want to find you. They're going to buy from you not in a linear path. As you can imagine, years ago, marketeers would actually build customer experiences. If they do A, give them B. If they go to B, give them C, and if not C, go to D. You can't do that now. You actually have to have a digital footprint that reaches out far beyond a linear path or even a Visio diagram path. Because again, depending on your product or service, 66 to 90% of the buyer's journey is self-directed. I'm in the process of buying my wife a new car, actually a new Jeep for the horses and such. But now think about that, all right? I actually know, in Ireland, I know approximately what I'm going to pay for a second-hand car. I know the tax on it. I know the miles per gallon. I actually know that if I go to the UK right now, the sterling's a little bit suppressed. I might be able to get a better deal, all right? I actually know all these calculations. There is no car salesman anymore. I can't walk into a shop and have him pitch me a car because I actually half the time know, not as much as him, but I know a lot about the car I want. I've actually narrowed it down through my own journey, through my own asking my friends. I ask my farmer friends, is that a good Jeep to pull a horse box? I ask other people, I get their reviews. I read consumer reports. Can you hear me okay? All right. Up. Okay, so sorry about that. So, buyers now have their own journey, their own path, and we as marketers and salespeople have to understand their paths, all right? But it's not a linear path. They're going to be hopping from Billy to Jack, all right? And you actually have to find a way to have this path and actually have it centrally located, because whether they're a new top of the funnel unknown customer or prospect unknown to who you are, they just came in as an IP address, or whether you're somebody who's trying to resell or retarget to that same customer, they are not going to have the same path. No one customer is having the same path anymore. Whose responsibility is it? Never leave the side of the customer. Again, we are looking at marketeers as stewards of the journey to own each and every one of these touch points, whether it's customer service or brand recognition, because now in today's world, we're actually going to go back to brand. Historically, what we've done, we've gone from what we call mass marketing or mass advertising to a land of what we call dialogue. All right, dialogue marketing is something new. Pepper and Rogers actually wrote a book on it about 20 years ago. We're looking at one-to-one marketing now. How do you actually have a dialogue with your customers? Mass marketing is just the opposite. It's actually throwing people into the top of the funnel to actually pull them through the funnel. Where one-to-one communication, it's how as a marketeer are you making sure that you understand where they came from, where they are in a sales cycle, and what they're going to do next, or what they're going to buy next. You want to make sure if they are a customer and they're tweeting or they have a customer support ticket, that it all comes back. And you actually turn this into one-to-one dialogue as opposed to mass marketing. I am going to have a pop quiz at the end. Whoever gets, my question's going to be, I can't tell you till the end because Google's too fast for me. Right? Anyway, something about mass marketing now. So actually, how do you actually do this now? How do you have these one-to-one communications? How do you have these one-to-one communications with multiple people? How do you actually get that dialogue to him and understand everything that he's done? You never want to send him the same message twice. If he's downloaded a white paper on your website, and then you actually have what we'll call ad bridge, an advertisement out on Facebook, and he comes to download that advertisement, you want to make sure in real time that he does not get the same message twice, because you should know as a vendor, as a seller, as a marketeer, that he's already consumed that piece of content. You want to then pull him down to the next later stage piece of content. How do you actually do that in a mass marketing world though? That's what we're facing right now. How do you actually coordinate that? Obviously, there's a little bit of a sly here because I do work for Marketo, and part of the overall offering that we have is actually connecting all of these different variables, So if you're using inbound marketing, you have a good, robust content on your website. You're pulling people in. Account-based marketing. Does everyone know what account-based marketing? Very targeted marketing, a certain number of clients that you actually put into your marketing automation team, and it actually goes back to GE and gives them a specific message. You can actually tie that back across through something like through paid media. So every time the CEO of GE or a certain person in a certain country, you can actually send them that Facebook message or that LinkedIn message, that paid advertisement for GE specifically. You have to do this. You have to start tying these messages back. All right. I think I'm kind of losing you guys, so I'll get to a little bit more detail. Does everyone know their funnel, their marketing funnel? All the marketeers again, everyone have their marketing funnel? All right, not as many hands from marketeers, unfortunately. Are we sharing this marketing funnel with the sales team? Does everyone know what an MQL is? A marketing qualified lead. Do we have a definition around an MQL? What's your definition for an MQL? I'm not going to put you on the spot, don't worry about it. So, in Marketo came to EMEA about 5 years ago. And so, us as a new tech startup coming into Europe, we took the definitions of all of these, anonymous known, marketing accepted lead, marketing qualified lead, sales accepted lead, sales qualified lead, all right? So in the US, a marketing accepted lead was something that the marketing team gave to what we'll call our SDRs. They're not the sales team, it's a sales qualification team. And we only gave them to make a phone call if they had what we'll call a lead score of 80 points. To get a lead score of 80 points, they had to do a certain number of things on my website. They had to come, they had to interact, maybe come back twice. If they came back 2 or 3 times in a week, that was good, that was hot, all right? So we would take that and we would give that to a marketing qualified lead, and a pre-sales guy would actually call them and say, tell me what you need, tell me what your budget, tell me the time frame. What we were finding though, selling our technology, marketing automation, was that we were a little bit behind the US on knowledge and a little bit ahead of the curve here for Europe. So we had to then move that threshold from 80 down to 50, and then we actually had to reorganize our sales qualification team to do more early stage education. All right, are you guys following me? So you have to, one of the first things you have to do is define the marketing funnel. We'll just talk about marketing for a little while. You have to define the marketing funnel. What do you as a marketeer consider a marketing qualified lead? What does it look like to you? And then who qualifies that to put that onto sales? I'm going to show you a waterfall diagram in a little while. That will actually give you a little bit more insight into how some best practices are. And the thing is, there's no one template for any one company. And the other thing though too is, I'm in a meeting next week to redefine our funnel. I know that right now, not to reveal too much, we're dealing with issues in this stage of our funnel. I'll tell you, we have over 4,000 leads coming to the top of the funnel there. We have our ratios, I'm not going to tell you what they have, we have our ratios actually down on each stage. We have a problem right here that these are getting recycled too much. They're not moving past the sales qualification into the opportunity stage. Does that make sense to you? A few heads nodding. All right, I'm going to step back again, back to the high level. Marketo and the Harvard Business School, we actually took a look at marketing organizations today. We're trying to define, again, we have 50,000 users of our solution. We're trying to define how and where the marketing organizations are going for next year. Okay, I do have a few of these in my bag. Maybe that'll be my spot prize. If you are interested, I do have a few of these from the Harvard Business Review. That's actually defining how marketing departments in the future are going to reorganize themselves and actually look in the near future. Okay, and we're going to call something. It's called the 3 T's. When you're looking at the marketing department and you want to look at the team structure, the talent inside that team, and then obviously the executive sponsorship. You know, they call the executive sponsorship the trans-functional leadership. All right, so team structure right now. So like most companies, especially large companies, you'll actually have a structure that has certain people buying paid media, certain people actually interacting and buying the TV sponsorship, certain people doing social, mobile. They're not cross-functional people. They're actually people that are defined for one particular space, one single space. What we're looking at, what Marketo is doing today, and I think that we see a lot of our customers doing today, is moving to what we call centers of excellence. So right now, if I build a new landing page, or if I actually am going to run a marketing campaign with my partners, I actually go back to the center of excellence and ask for creative services to do my digital content for me there. Okay? we're going to be looking for people who are actually working cross-function, focusing on products. All right, so the talent mix today, we're going to talk about Da Vinci people. It's a lot of the younger people today that aren't just looking for event marketing, that aren't just looking for campaign marketing. All right, they're not just looking for digital marketing. They're actually going to be cross-functional people. And when you think about the type of people that you have on your staff now, I wish I had a clicker. When you think about the type of people that you have on your staff now, everything that we do internally now, whether it was at Salesforce or whether it's at Marketo, we actually take a look at the data first. Very analytical thinkers. The data tells us everything. You know, out of those 4,000 leads that I was talking about that we get in the top of the funnel, I know that I can almost take out a third of those, because a third of those are in territories that I'm not interested in. My partners are interested in those territories, but a third of those are coming from, you know, Poland, Czech Republic. Yeah, we're interested in Turkey and such, but it's not a focus area for us. So I'm going to be dealing with those another way. So all of a sudden, once you actually start looking at your marketing funnel, defining what those top of the funnel or what those leads mean to you, you'll be able to start segmenting those to have different marketing types. So you want to have people that can actually be a little bit analytical, but at the same time, you're going to have what we call feelers. When you think of feelers, think of Google right now. Google has a marketing team in region, specifically giving the salespeople information on new trends that are happening by industry in region. All right. Now a feeler, they're pretty close to that market, being the industry, and the region, you know, being France, the language and such. Because inside there, the information they're giving to the seller is about selling digital advertising, where Google makes most of their money. All right. So the feeler, it's somebody that's actually quite attuned to a particular industry or a particular marketplace, being France or whatever geography. Transfunctional leadership. Okay. This is, you know, so we have marketing leadership, and again, I don't, you know, in a lot of the high-tech companies now, and they're quite progressive. When I say progressive, what they do, you know, I mean, I can tell you a story. There's Motorola. If you remember Motorola has, his name's Eduardo Conrado. All right, he is now the Chief Innovation Officer for Motorola. Back in 2008, he was the CMO. All right, and in 2008, a lot of technologies were coming online. You know, social listening, social monitoring, social management. And he was diving into those technologies. He was diving in there because he knew that in the future, part of his job, part of his responsibility is actually getting the information, the data science from these technologies. So what he ended up doing is he dove into the technology so deeply, they actually made him CIO. So he went from CMO to CIO. As CIO, he started reaching out across the business. He started doing the ties back to the customer service. So now at Motorola, or what was at Motorola before they were bought, I don't know if this division was bought, he actually brought the CMO role to the IT role, all the way into the customer service role. And he was able to give robust data and information from there. And now he's, again, the Chief Information Officer. So I think when we're talking about the people and the processes behind there, you have to be a little bit more cross-functional when you're looking at marketing. It's not just, am I a creative person? Unfortunately, it's not just, am I a creative person anymore? And when you ask, you know, I love to think that that it's just, you know, Marketo or other technology companies saying this, but you know, we all have, we're all getting led by the Gartners and the Forresters of the world. The Gartners and the Forresters of the world are saying the exact same thing. So before I dive into this, that was that story about Conradio. Who actually sees that their sales and marketing function is more like this than my whole happy funnel? Is this it? And I'm not going to lie, this actually happens at most tech companies. It actually happens at Marketo itself as well. I remember, you know, there's a Forrester summit in London right now, and the poor girl from marketing handed the sales guy a business card and said, you know, it was BT, whatever. This is a really hot customer. He really wants to talk. He's really interested in marketing automation. And then she walked away, and the sales guy looked at it and said, I know they're using competitive software. Not even going to call them. So that actually does happen today, and I know it happens in your company because it still happens in my company. We are a very marketing-led company. So really quick, I want to give you a couple of facts on, and I have them written down here so I don't forget, a couple of facts on marketing and marketing leads, all right? So let's share some facts. So first of all, this is a good fact for us, obviously. Sorry about that. All right, responding to your leads within 1 hour increases your conversion rates by 7 times. All right? Average response time for internet lead, it's 44 hours. 65% of all companies don't nurture leads. Only 25% of salespeople make 2 contact attempts. It requires 8 follow attempts just to qualify a lead, and 80% of all transactions require 5 to 12 follow-ups, including a text message. And text messaging now will increase your conversion rate by 40%. All right, another thing that the executive leadership team has to do is make a commitment to your company. And this is actually not only about, you know, I'm going to commit to call back people, but set goals and timelines, you know. And this has to come down from the executives. You know, we at Marketo, whether it's a follow-up by an email or a phone call, all right, there has to be an automated contact within 1 hour, because we know the conversion rates are a lot higher with that. Give your staff precise schedules and actions for following up. The schedule might look like an automated response within 5 minutes. Thank you, somebody will be right back with you. A call the same day. Or the management, what can we do to help you win the business? So again, you want to move from a place where you're just handing the lead off to sales to, you know, within an hour getting back to that customer, how he's hitting your website or where he's hitting your website. So let's take a quick look at defining the funnel. All right. So again, I didn't see that many hands. I don't know if we're just Irish and we don't want to interact with the speaker. But yeah, I think that's it. I got a nod back there. But again, if you don't have your sales, if you don't have your marketing funnel, and then defined with your sales funnel, this is how ours looks like inside Marketo. And these are the roles and responsibilities that are directly aligned with that. All right. So if you can take one thing away, just take a funnel diagram from this speech. All right, or from this. I feel like I'm not having dialogue. I'm actually having that one-way communication. But if you can take one thing from it, take this funnel, all right, understand, you know, where and how and why. Marketo's revenue, I think it was 56% of our revenue is from this bit right here. It's recycled. That means that we engaged with them, not only in a presentation, all right, not only in a phone call. We had a salesperson engage with them, and then halfway through the sales cycle, something fell out. One of the biggest issues that we have is no decision. But that gets recycled. Then we actually start nurturing them through the marketing cycle again. We still want to keep in touch with them, and we want to pull them a little bit further along. I hope that makes sense to you. Has anyone heard of Serious Decisions? Anyone? Yes. You probably pay a lot of money for that. But yeah. So Serious Decisions, if you don't know, Google it really quick, or just take this little template. If you want me to go through, I have 5 minutes left, but again, really quick, these are the serious steps within inside your marketing funnel and your sales funnel. Take a picture of that, because that's the one that'll help you define, you know, as your leads get recycled. This one I think is really interesting, and again, I can talk to this one a little bit. This is called the route around. Again, most of your leads are coming in inbound. That means that they're coming in from your website or something that you're doing, an event activity. Outbound is when your people are calling for account-based marketing. But we have something, and we use it inside ourselves at Marketo, it's called the route around. The route around could be for an existing customer. Microsoft is one of our largest customers. So if anyone from Microsoft hits our website, that goes straight to the AE. Doesn't go through any of this stuff, goes straight to the salesperson. So he actually knows that minute that Microsoft has actually hit our website. And then he can do his research to find out, are they looking at a new product, are they looking at a new feature, have they done something with customer support? That's his action to follow up. All right. So I hope that makes sense anyway. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. All right. So as we go through it, I'm just gonna give you a couple of my last numbers here. You know, 79% of marketing leads are never converted into sales. These aren't Marketo numbers; these are public numbers. 61% of B2B marketers send all leads directly to sales, but only 20% of those leads get qualified. 35 to 50% of sales go to the vendor at the first response. And again, that goes back to my spot on, you know, call them within an hour, have some type of a message or a follow-up within an hour. That it can just be an automated message, an automated follow-up. Some quick steps. Like I said, I have a meeting next Thursday. Every quarter we have a meeting, and it's the executive team from here. We sit in a room and we hash out the funnel. It's sometimes not a pretty meeting because again, I've given you a lead, you accepted that lead, then you came back and said it was trash. You know, so we have a lot of difficult conversations. But that is good because then we actually can readjust the funnel. We set expectations again. We get the message out to the sales team, to the SDRs, to the marketing team. This is what an opportunity is because we measure, we all get paid on different parts of that funnel. Okay, so.